Hi there, my name's Ruth from Gothic Decay and I produce work that looks like this. So today I'm going to show you how I'm going to try and fix this embroidery. It's been one of the first ones I did and it's just been driving me slowly up the wall since I did it. So I tried to wash a lot of the colour out of it and that's why it's gone this pink colour. So I'm going to re-dye it red and try and really zip up the colours a little bit. So we shall... it's a bit too much water in there, actually. We'll pour some of that away. So do excuse the mad chaos. As you may or may not know, I've been in this house for less than a week now and sort of finding some things and not others. There we go. So we will let's put the lid back on this, otherwise it won't work. So, got a little jar of water, just a tiny bit of water in there. Let's move this out of the way. And now I've got some Brusho in Scarlet and Brilliant Red. So we're going to try with Scarlet and see how we go. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in here, like that. You don't need a huge amount, as you see, because it's quite concentrated colours. A little bit more in, just to... You can always put more in, whereas putting less in doesn't work. Well, you end up watering it down for ages and it's just quite tricky then. So what I shall now do is just give this a quick spray, just to sort of help wet up the fabric. I hope you can't hear that siren outside. I haven't moved to somewhere too scary, I promise. And then we'll just pour on this red colour. Like this. Always worth, like this, in this instance, I haven't got enough colour, so worth doing it in an area and then spreading from there. So you can always add, sorry, I don't think I'm making much sense, am I? If I started here, then I'd end up with a very red corner. So starting in a sort of circular motion in the middle, or wherever you want this sort of bright highlight of colour. Otherwise, as I say, you'll, you know, if you just sort of dyed this area one colour, it would also be difficult to manage to get the colours to match up again. I do, sorry, the lights are on in my head, but there's no one in, as you probably can tell, so I'm so sorry if I don't make much sense at all. So give that a little swirl. So we've got a lovely, lovely deep red. And again, a little bit further in this time. This, see if we can get further there. And then my trusty paintbrush to smoosh. Technical term, you understand? I'm all about the technicals, me. Right, so we'll just do a little bit more, because again, not using quite enough, but see, because I'm only dyeing this one colour, but all the patches underneath, this is a very good example of how these techniques I use work, is that there's so much going on underneath that this colour is very different to this colour, and this colour, and this colour, and this colour, just because there's so many different patches of fabric and they're all dyed different colours, so it just... If you were to just dye a plain piece of fabric like this, it would look quite flat and boring, because there's so much going on under there already. Ah, look, a new funny noise in my studio. That's the tape holding the windows closed, believe it or not. It was there when we got here. Right, so that should definitely do it this time. So we'll just splurge this around a little bit, again, all technical terms, splurge. And then basically we shall wait for this to dry. So I shall be back when it's nice and dry. Right, so we're nice and dry now. It's come out a bit brighter than I was expecting, but I think that's the way with dye. You just, well, for me anyway, I never managed to get it to come out the way I hoped it would come out. but you just have to go with what it does. And you can remember that it generally washes out if you don't like it as it's come out. So if you have a look, I don't know if you can see that, around the outside of the cross, I stitched red, I couched down some red thread. And I think this is part of why it doesn't stand out very well, is that this is too, this colour is, this gold is too similar tonally or whatever it is to the background. So it doesn't really stand out. So I've decided what I'll do. I mean, I could take all of this out and restitch it if I wanted to, but what I'm going to do is cheat and just put a little bit of paint on it, or a little bit of ink, because I think it'll still show through some of the red, and it will make, because it won't be perfect, it'll add more interesting textures. So we shall have a go at that. Just checking you can still see everything. So I've got my ink, not sponsored, but it's that. It's just really dark black good ink in a giant bottle, so that's very handy for me because I like to slosh this around everywhere. So what we're going to do is just darken these red bits a little bit. So we'll just make sure you wipe off most of the ink, otherwise it will spread everywhere, and just touch it on. See, it hasn't gone super black. Again, this is one of those fun things about textiles, is that you never quite know what it's going to do. I mean, this ink is normally very, very black. So it's just going to be a sort of nice, deep burgundy colour, I guess, which is great. We'll work with that. So you probably can, you've seen the start of this, so I'm sure you can get the idea of me painting the end of this. So I will finish that and show you when it's done. So here we are. I've painted round all of these little bits, and I think it stands out a bit better now. So we're finally going to get to fix this embroidery. It's really been on the process of being done for, I don't know, maybe 5 years. Anyway, what I'm now going to do is darken the edges because I like it. So what I'm going to do is just spray it with a bit of water just to get things moving a little bit. Just stops the ink settling too much, you know, and drying straight in like little stripes of where you've put the water. Excuse me if you can hear funny noises in the background. James is just trying to fix our door. One of many things that need fixing in this house. Right, so what we should do is put a bit of the black ink on here. And there we go. So we'll just darken up all of this. You know me and my gloom, I do like a nice gloomy colour. Get more gloomy than this. Hello Leonard, if you can hear her bellowing. She's fine, she just wonders where James has gone, that's why she's shouting. I know it sounds like she's terribly poorly, but she's not. She just misses her James. Highly professional video this is turning out to be. Leonard yelling and banging and crashing. But you get the idea. There's chaos all everywhere. But we still get to make some crafty things, arty, crafty, textile-y things, just before we get into that weird argument. So, darken the edges, nearly there. Like this. Just sort of smoosh it in a bit so there aren't too many stripes of dark that suddenly change to lighter colours. Right, there we go, and we'll wait for that to dry. So here we are, all finished. It's all nice and dry. Well, mostly, I've just done it with the hairdryer, but it's mostly dry. And all ready to frame. Well, what I'll do is I will turn it into hanging. So I will show you that next week. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. And just to show that, yeah, I've done things that sit around in my cupboard waiting to be fixed for so many years. and now we finally fixed them, so it's worth doing. So thank you very much for watching, and if you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It makes the world of difference to me. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.